Now, if you do want to give them a special treat for Thanksgiving, then we highly recommend sliders and super gravy made by Clear Conscience Pet. These products are the best on the market in our opinion, and Maverick gives it the 2 paws up. And our first guest today is holistic nutritional expert Anthony Bennie, the founder of Clear Conscience Pet. Welcome back, Anthony.
Thank you, Susan, and thank you, Mark. My gosh, you guys always make me blush when you introduce me so kindly. And I just want to say your list is a very good one, and we really just need to constantly reinforce those messages that people food is not necessarily bad for dogs, but you have to really know what you're doing, and that's where education comes in. And really, I like to think of Clear Conscience Pet as a company that's founded on education, and then we make products that reflect that education rather than the other way around. And I think I hope that's what makes us a little different than some of the folks out there, is that we really believe that it matters most that we are true to the principles of what is true, biologically appropriate canine and feline. We don't forget our cat friends.
Yes,
nutrition, and it's based on science and somewhat of common sense. And sometimes I think we just get too far away from both of those things when we talk about how to feed our dogs.
Well, welcome, Anthony, and thanks for being with us again, especially on this Thanksgiving.
Well, it's an honor.
Well, let's start. Tell us, we got some specials. You got to have some specials going on this time of year for these people that, care about their dog's nutrition. And before we even get started with that, I want to provide a testimony. We rescued a dog. We rescue dogs from shelters, and we train them to be service dogs for veterans coming back from the war with PTSD and TBI. And we'll be placing our 5th dog next month in 2 weeks up in Oklahoma. So we're particular about the nutrition that our dogs get, any of the dogs. And we rescued a dog recently that was tied to a tree for 1 year. He lived outdoors, tied to a tree for 1 year. The animal control came by and saw it and went and talked to the guy and said, if you don't get him inside, we're going to have to take him. He said, well, go ahead and take him. Well, now the dog's on death row because they're full, and so we went ahead and took him. His name is Cash. He's a huge flat-coated retriever, and he's just a knucklehead. But he would not eat. When we brought him into our home with the 9 other dogs, he would not eat, wouldn't eat a lick. He was skin and bones. And we poured some super gravy made by Clear Conscious Pet, super gravy, on his food, and he's eating 3 cups twice a day now like there's no tomorrow. The other thing we do is all these dogs we get out of the shelters have issues with their teeth, as you can imagine. And we provided some tracheas that you sell at Clear Conscious Pet to our dogs, and within 2 chewings, their teeth were clean. Now, that saves a lot of money at the vet's office for cleaning teeth. So we're just thrilled about your products, Anthony, and we want you to tell us what kind of products you're carrying and what kind of specials you have going on right now for our listeners.
Well, again, it's a hard act to follow, and I have someone who is just incredibly gracious about what we do. And I can tell you one thing is that what you see is a reflection of just an unflagging commitment to quality and safety. And we just don't compromise on anything. And, when you talk about the trachea, it's one of my favorite things because you mentioned the bone issue in your intro, and bones are really variable for different dogs, and that's why I'm very reluctant to recommend them. Those who know how to do bones with certain dogs, it may be just great for them, but on a general principle, it's something that we have to be very cautious of. Now, the trachea, to me, is just a great, I don't want to call it a compromise because that's the wrong word. It's a great alternative because you get a really good hard chew, but it's totally digestible, Mark and Susan, and that's the key for me. I don't like the idea of non-digestible material such as real bones. And let's not forget about this engineered. We weren't going to use the crap word, right? The engineered stuff out there, bones of various colors that are basically made out of plastics, and we're told that these are food for our dogs, and so let's not give those a pass either. But The thing about the trachea that's great is that we
Anthony.
roast it to a consistency and we slice it differently than many manufacturers so that it's really a good gnawing treat. And we also infuse our trachea with organic flax, spinach, tomato, and carrot, and that's our patent-pending process. Nobody else does that. And my opinion and action as a holistic nutritionist is I like to take a one-dimensional nutrient source, even if it's a good one like trachea, and then enhance it holistically. And that word sometimes gets thrown around a lot, and I want to explain that to me,
Anthony,
holistic means considering the entire result and function of what you put into your body or into your animal's body. And that's why we add these sources of omegas and vegetable nutrients to our trachea. So you're really getting 4 things in one with the product. So I'm really glad you acknowledge that, because some of our other products like Super Gravy is very, it's easy for people to get their minds around it, but for people to understand that giving a dog a trachea chew is just a great way to satisfy their chewing instinct, because it is very powerful, as you know very well, in our dogs, and it's a very primal thing. But to do that safely and with a product that you can feel really good about, I think that it's just an outstanding way to give your dog something really good to chew on. So thank you so much for mentioning that.
Well,
and
not a problem. We want to get back and talk about the Super Gravy, but we have to go to commercial because we have to pay for this show. So we'll be right back after these messages.
What you mean when you say they came from the wrong side of town?
Treat your furry best friend with a clear conscience. Clear Conscience Pet, that is. Everything made by this family-owned company is artisan crafted in the USA. From family-farmed ingredient sources, holistically formulated for your pet's best health, and just plain delicious. Their treats, chews, and the amazing Super Gravy food topper for dogs and cats are simply the best you can buy, and the company has won 5 National Nutrition Awards to prove it. Now, Clear Conscience Pet is launching the Sliders brand, a true breakthrough in meaty treats featuring the purest tender meat treat ever made. No grain, no gluten, no glycerin or other chemicals found in typical moist treats. Sliders are pub fun snacks made from lean meats nutritionally optimized with omega-rich organic flax and veggies. Enter the offer code RADIO at checkout and save 20% at clearconsciencepet.com. Your pets will love you for it.
When it comes to health expenses, dog owners have it rough. Now, thanks to veterinarian and dermatologist Dr. Kristen Holm, your dog can be goo healthy. There's Doggy Goo to fight environmental pet allergies, Goo Gut Rescue for rescuing your dog's gut health, and Goo Silver, a broad-spectrum supplement for the special needs of your senior varsity dog. So visit healthygoo.com today or call 855-246-2426 and your dog can be healthy goo, healthy.
Okay, we're back. You're listening to Leader of the Pack with Susan and Mark.
I'm Mark.
And we are talking to Anthony Bennie from Clear Conscience Pet. He was just telling us about the tracheas that he sells there. And Mark and I just absolutely love all of Anthony's products. And I think the next product that we were going to talk about was the Super Gravy.
Well, and that's a one that's near and dear to all of our hearts, because this is one of those products that I feel like almost like it was just gifted to me by my dog. My dogs in heaven that still communicate with me. I mean, it's just one day it just came to me that we needed to have a better way to improve the quality and the digestibility of, especially of dry foods. And the story that Mark just told about rescuing that dog, first of all, it just made me, my blood boil a little bit, because it just, to this day, I just can't imagine anyone who doesn't understand that a dog is a being, an emotional thinking being, and to treat them that way, it's unconscionable. But leaving that aside for a second, the thing that really had occurred to me a few years ago when I developed the product was that we are committing nutritional malpractice, and I did a talk called Confessions of a Dog Food Salesman, and that sounds kind of tongue-in-cheek, but my first confession when I did this little talk in New York City last year was that for many years I've been selling dry food, and I don't currently because I'm involved in a different part of the industry now, but the very, very finest dry foods that are ever made, and I feel as if on their own they're still not an adequate natural diet, and here's my reasoning. No animal is going to be able to walk in the forest and find little chunks of protein, fat, and carbohydrates bound up into little hard balls. It's not the way it works in nature. We're losing the hydration factor, so I said, well, let's talk about hydration. And the problem is kibble doesn't accept water. If you dump water into kibble, guys, what does it do? It resists it because it's designed to resist water and air, so it'll last for a year and a half in a bag. So what I developed with the Super Gravy was a formula that will not only allow the water to bind. Now, again, I want your listeners to know it's a dry mix so that you don't have to pay me for the water. That makes it a lot more efficient of a product. But what it does is it allows the water to penetrate the kibble by clinging to it, and the huge bonus for your dog is just an incredible flavor burst. So I just really am grateful that people have started to recognize that this is a great alternative to using canned food with your dry, which is a fine thing to do, but it can be very expensive. And we realize that budgets are very tight, and the last thing we want is for people to, have to give up something that's good for their dog because of a budgetary issue. So if you're one of the millions of people out there who feeds canned food with your dry, and that's getting a little tough on your budget, and you're tired of the waste and the carrying and cutting, those edges of the cans, Super Gravy can replace that for you. And again, instead of buying water from a can manufacturer or buying it from me, use your own water at home. We'll give you the concentrate, and voila, you've got a dry meal that turns into a delicious gravy-coated meal, and there's nothing artificial in it, not even one synthetic vitamin, not one artificial flavor or color. It's all natural, just made from liver, heart, dried vegetables, and chia seeds. So it's a very basic formula, but it's just one of those products that just works. So
when we heard about
I would encourage everyone to seek a hydration method if you're feeding dry food alone. Even if you don't use our product, please hydrate your dry food. I guarantee you, based on my 22 years in this business, that you will see a dramatic decrease in irritable bowel disease, in colitis, in common stomach problems where dogs just go into bouts of diarrhea and constipation and vomiting. A lot of that is because they just don't tolerate dry food well, and it doesn't break down in their stomach. And if you want evidence of that, and this is going to be a little gross, sorry, on Thanksgiving, when you occasionally see a dog who, coughs up a little something that they ate an hour ago and they're eating dry food, it's pretty shocking when you see that it's still basically entirely intact. That tells you something right there. That food is not really breaking down in the dog's body sufficiently. So you're not only wasting money by putting the food in their mouths without hydrating it, you're also potentially giving your dog stomach issues long term. So
the best thing they can do
is add water. It's on our website, but a fast way to get to the Super Gravy page is just to go to supergravy.com. And we've got awesome new recipes because we realized it's like one of these products that you can use so many ways. So we put together some fun holiday recipes. So, that's up there. And, by all means, jump in and enjoy those recipes and give you some fun stuff to make. And if you want to do homemade stuff for the holidays, I provided with all the other ingredients that you need are basically at the grocery store, and the only thing you need to buy from us really is just the Super Gravy, and you can make these wonderful new treats that we've developed. So I don't want to ruin it by explaining them. Just go on and open up the recipe page, and it's a lot of fun.
And what website is that again, Anthony?
That's at supergravy.com. And what that does, it takes you right to the Super Gravy page on the Clear Conscience website. And I always do the reminder, Clear Conscience is CONSCIENCE. So got the word science at the end there. And, once people plug it in once, it comes up obviously, automatically. But we do have people occasionally say that, well, we tried Clear Conscious, Pet. And I said, well, we try to be conscious. We occasionally work such long hours that I feel like I'm going to be unconscious, but that's the nature of a family business, as you both know as well as hard workers, that you are. And, hey, we're all in this for the same thing. It's for the betterment of the animals. It's for truth versus fiction. And, you know, somebody's got to stand up for what's right out here. And the way I look at it is that we may not be making a boatload of money by any means because we spend so much for our ingredients, but at least I can look myself in the mirror and say that every product I make, I would give my own dogs or eat myself. So
Absolutely.
that's it. That's where the rubber hits the road for me.
Yeah, no, your products are just amazing. We use them in our service dog, our rescue dogs that we train as service dogs, and then the veterans that we place these dogs with are actually going to be getting some product from you. And do you have a new people, new businesses that you're sponsoring, Anthony?
Well, we are very proud that we've just, you and I just have kind of worked out a new program for your veterans that are placed with service dogs, partnered with service dogs, which is huge, and we're going to be providing them with the super gravy, a bag each per month, and that's usually perfect supply for a medium to pretty good sized dog. And in terms of our partnerships, I mean we work with as you know with In Dogs We Trust, which is Lonnie over at Veteran Traveler, who's simpatico with you on the issues of veterans and PTSD. And so we've learned a lot in the last few months, and I love learning new things, and by being exposed to people who I admire so much, like you and Lonnie, who I thank you both so much for your service and what you've done for us. I just want to make sure that the folks out there understand that it's not only about the dogs, it's about the dog's relationship to us as humans. It's that bond, and that's why the In Dogs We Trust book is one that I would love people to seek out. It is on Amazon Kindle, and it's In Dogs We Trust by Lon Hodge, and it's also coming out in hardcover. So information on that would be available on our website as well. So I don't want to keep giving a bunch of different websites and confuse people. Just look at the tab for In Dogs We Trust, and
right. And we have a chapter in that ourselves. Susan and I talks about Cowboy.
Because we've helped to fund the printing of the book are going to go 100% to the charities, and that's very important to me.
Absolutely. Well, Anthony, we thank you for being on this Thanksgiving. And tell Amanda I said hello. I will, and I want to give your listeners a special preview. Now, this is not going to be activated till 8 p.m. because I want it to be respectful of the Thanksgiving holiday in that sense and not have people rushing to shop. But at 8 p.m., we're going to have a Black Friday all the way through Cyber Monday deal, and it's to be a 33% discount on all of our products and a fixed shipping rate of only $4.95 in the continental U.S. So that's the best deal we've ever offered. We wanted to have some fun and give people a great opportunity to try the products. And remember, they're always 100% guaranteed. And the code for that is going to be Holiday33, all in caps. So at 8 p.m., hopefully that button will turn on if the computer gods are with us. And there's another great deal, which is we have some Christmas packs of our Sliders Tender Sticks, the individually wrapped. Those are awesome.
We're going to have a blowout deal on those, and the code for that is going to be stuffers, as in stocking stuffers. And when you see the prices, it'll blow your mind. You could do all of your Christmas shopping for dogs on your list in one shot on the web. So I want to thank you guys so much for your kindness, for putting information out there that people need, and for giving our small family company the opportunity to be heard.
Well, we're behind you all the way, and we thank you for sponsoring us, and anything we can do to help you, we will. We have to go to break right now, Anthony. Thank you again for joining us. Enjoy your